A lot of people who start their carnivore diet do so because they're interested in losing weight, and a lot of other things they've tried haven't worked out. Now, I started eating the carnivore way probably about 18 months ago, and it wasn't initially to lose weight. I was more interested in some of the other health benefits that come from that. But recently, when I had a DEXA scan done, I weighed myself, and I hadn't weighed myself for like probably 4 months, and I had gained quite a bit of weight. I'd gained about sort of 5 kilos over what I was before, so that's around about 11, 12 pounds. I also noticed that my pants were a lot tighter, my shorts were a lot tighter, so I had to admit it wasn't all muscle. There's been some fat that's gone on there as well. So if you've also gained some weight on the carnivore diet, then what I'm going to talk about today might actually help you alleviate that and take that weight back off again. Now, there's one thing before I get into my solution, which is even if you've started the carnivore diet recently and you've actually gained weight, well, it might not be such a bad thing. So when I first started, I did immediately gain some weight. Well, not immediately, like over the next few months, probably 4 to 5 kilos over what I had normally been prior to then. But my body composition remained the same. I looked about the same level of leanness. I just really did add on some additional muscle, and that might be what's happening with you, because I think a lot of people aren't actually consuming enough protein in their diet. And when you switch to the carnivore diet, then you're going to get a lot of protein in that you might not have been getting before, which allows your body to build muscle. So if you change nothing about your training routine, your exercise routine, then that might be what's going on. The quick and dirty way to tell is just to take a waist measurement. And if your waist measurement has gone up along with the weight gain, then there's probably a good chance that your weight gain is body fat, or at least some of it is body fat, and you might want to do something about that. I can't believe somebody's just started up a leaf blower just as I press the record button. Those things should be illegal. So I sat down and had a bit of a hard look at what I've been doing with my diet and my exercise. And what I realized was that I was consuming probably too much cheese, probably too much cream, and I was adding in eggs when I didn't really need to, like adding in eggs to my ground beef. So all those things together were probably adding additional calories that I didn't actually need. So I thought, okay, well, let's just eliminate those and just really simplify things. Go back to just having beef and lamb with a little bit of butter with my coffee and see what happens. Because what I've also been finding is that the snacking on the cheese is like, the more I do it, the more I want it, the more I crave it. So I was a bit worried about whether that might be something that's really sustainable, because I think if you want to do anything, there's going to be some sacrifice, but I wasn't so sure that I was willing to give up cheese. But I did that anyway. So how did that work out? Well, pretty good so far. So there's a few things that occurred. In the space of 2 weeks, I've lost about 3.5 kilograms, and I'm not going to take my shirt off for you right now, but I'm visibly leaner and I've lost some body fat. But something else interesting has occurred, and it's to do with my satiety signals, so my appetite. So I've noticed that I am noticing when I'm full, and I just don't feel like eating past the point of actually being comfortably stuffed, as Dr. Berry likes to put it. So, for example, I eat a lot of ground beef because it's really quick and simple to make, and I find it quite satisfying. And normally I would make a batch of about 0.5 kilogram, which is about a pound of ground beef at any one time, just fry it in the pan. So there was a little bit more left over last night, so I cooked all of it. But once I got to about that sort of 1 pound, half kilogram mark, I just had had enough, and I just put it back in the bowl, put some Glad wrap over it, put it back in the fridge, and then so that was for my first meal yesterday. And then later in the afternoon or in the evening, about 6 o'clock, oh, it was time to have the second meal. So I cooked 2 steaks, and I ate half the steak, and I was done. I didn't actually want anything more, which typically I will just eat whatever's in front of me. But I was really quite satisfied, and I just didn't want it. Like that was it. So I think a great side effect of eliminating the cheese and the cream, which I think has some hit in your dopamine receptors, I'm sure of it, is that I am inclined just to stop eating once I'm actually satisfied, rather than overeating and consuming more calories than I actually need. So what's the upsides to this? Well, number one, it's just simple. So beef, lamb, bit of butter. I also do sometimes add a little bit of milk into my coffee, and that's pretty much it. Shopping for groceries wasn't that complicated, but removing those extra things is just, now I just go, okay, what beef or lamb am I going to buy today, and do I have enough butter? That's it, right? The downside for some people might be that's a lack of variety. It's not for me. I'm pretty happy just to eat steak or ground beef for as long as I want to. Another upside that I wasn't expecting is the whole being able to understand your satiety signals thing. And I think, the carnivore diet is, for people who were eating a lot of processed food and have a lot of weight to lose, then encompassing all parts of the carnivore diet, so anything animal-based, cheese, dairy, all that sort of stuff, I think you probably will lose weight up until a certain point. But for someone like me, there's something in those foods which has me overeat them really easily. And does that mean I'm never going to eat cheese again? No, that's not. But what I do now is, if I'm like having at the weekend with my wife April and I want to have some cheese, then I'll just have the cheese only. So rather than having a meat dish or whatever, then if we're going to have some wine and some cheese, then I'll just have that, and I'll find that will be very satisfying in and of itself. Whereas before I would have had the usual meat dish and then let's have some wine and cheese to add to that. So that's kind of the workaround that I have for that. So, that's what worked for me. So it was eliminating eggs, eliminating cheese, eliminating cream. So what about you? Have you found that you've gained some weight since you've started the carnivore diet? Did you initially lose something and gained it back? And have you had to have a look at what you were doing like I've done and come up with some solutions that work for you? Let me know in the comments, because other people might actually find them useful as well. And I think you should check out this video next. Yeah, I think that'll be a good one for you. See you later.